Okay, we are playing a little bit of Modern today. We're revealing our Hippo Girl. We're playing Budget Blast. This is a calibrated blast list which costs less than $10 online. It costs over $100 in paper, but that's because this card here is randomly 15 bucks. The idea is we're going to calibrate blast people in the face with cheap payoffs. The deck can be improved significantly by spending a bit of money on it. Both of our first hands are terrible because we have none of the combo pieces. But in order to do that, you can check out the link in the description below. We've got two deck lists. One for this one, the budget version, which recently 5-0'd, but I made a slight change to it by adding Karuka to the sideboard. And the non-budget version, which is down there as well, which I played in a league before. I'll put a link to that video in the cards in the description as well. So mulliganing down, we've now got our Throws of Chaos, so we're going to keep this. We need to put 3 cards on the bottom, so we're going to put both our payoffs. And I guess we're going to put, like, the Radiant Fountain. And then we've got red sources and 2 colors. And we need to draw 1 more land. Verdant Catacombs from our opponent. We draw the Calibrated Blast, which is pretty good. So we're going to play the Swift Water Cliffs and gain a life. Our opponent grabs an Overgrown Tomb. The reason we're on Swift Water Cliffs is because we are playing budget. The deck really wants multiple Triomes and some fetch lands and some shock lands to be able to play the Scions of Draco. But like, all the things I just mentioned are $10 and upwards, the majority of them. So we're just not playing any of that stuff. We'll play a Factory and pass back to our opponent. They fetch up a Temple Garden tap. We draw another Calibrated Blast, which is pretty good. So we're going to play a Factory and then pass back to them. I kind of want to play off the Calibrated Blast in their end step or when they tap out. Although they don't have any blue mana, so the chance of them having something that really stops this is quite slim. Guess we could play around Mana Tithe, who knows? So we're going to blast them. You don't target them, you actually cast it, and then there's like a trigger that comes off the back of it. We've shot them for a grand 15, taking them to 2. We untap. We play a Kirk Keep. I'm just going to blast them again. That went way too well. Played a couple of practice games before recording this, including some punts from me. Nothing went that well. Okay, well that's a pretty good turn 4 kill. The deck isn't that consistent, I promise. I don't really know what we want to do with this sideboard here. I guess the Thalia Academy is going to come in because there's a good chance they've got access to Thoughtseize, especially in the board versus our combo deck. I think that might be my fastest on-camera win, apart from people conceding. That's nice. This hand has nothing going for it, so we're going to mulligan. This hand has a Blast, a Commit to Memory, and a Scion, but no red mana, so I don't think I can keep this either. Blast, throws, a Blink Moth. Let's keep this. And we're going to bottom my Blink Moth Nexus, a Blink Moth Infusion, whatever the fuck it's called. No one. And it throws. But the great thing about this deck into, say, Thoughtseize is that the Calibrated Blast does have a flashback cost, and the throws is a retrace cost. So we're not that soft a hand attack, it just slows us down significantly. Our opponent played an Underworld Cookbook, so they're on some form of Asmodee Doodah deck. Our hand looks very painful. I've only just realized it's 3 pain lands. But I guess, I don't know, unless they're aggro of some kind, unless they're burn or you know, 8-whack or something, I don't think. There's Asmodee. They reveal another Underworld Cookbook. I guess the food will keep them in it. That's interesting. We're going to play a Swift Water Cliffs and gain a life. What if they're a Revenge Vine variant of this? I played so little Modern lately, I don't even know what versions of these decks exist. They attack us for 3, taking us to 18. We untap and draw a Mishmash Factory, which we're going to play. And then we're going to begin by Calibrated Blasting them in the face for no damage to us. We hit a 10, so we take them to 7, which means they could survive the next blast if we only hit a 4-drop. Although one of the 4-drops is in our hand, so it's a little less likely. They're going to eat a food here to go back up to 10, I would assume. They do. And they discard a persist, so we now know they're on some sort of reanimator, with the cookbook being their discard outlet for things like Archons of Despair and such. They're discarding. Please don't let it be a reanimator. And then they're making a food token by discarding a forest, so no reanimation target yet. Maybe they have 2 food in play, but only 4 mana, so they're on a virtual 13. We get a 15 here. They rushed Rebirth. Okay, interesting. So they're going to shoot their own Decadent Godal, and they get a less CMC creature than Asmodee Doodah, which is interesting. I've never seen this. Wait, I thought it was less. Interesting. So they rushed Rebirth, shot the Asmodee Doodah, and got an Archon. So we're going to discard the Blink Moth Infusion. I'm a little bit lost as to what just happened, if I'm completely frank. I have no idea how that got that. Like, how? You know? How? Okay, we're going to go red and 3 colorless. We're going to cast Throws of Chaos. We just hope we hit the appropriate number now. So we Cascade. We're going to Cascade into Calibrated Blast, which is no surprises, because that's the only thing we could hit. And then we're going to shoot them in the face. Did we hit a 15? We hit a 14. They're dead. Okay, so we won, even though I don't know what our opponent was doing. So I checked with the judge on my Discord and a few other people to make sure I'm getting a sense check here. The rushed Rebirth onto the Asmodee Doodah, then killing it with their cookbook should not have allowed them to get a 7-drop like Archon. This appears to be quite clearly a bug of Magic the Gathering Online. So there's a public service announcement for you. for you. Don't bug people out. And also, it needs to be fixed. We're going to try one more time, because that first round, in spite of our opponent trying to scum us with a bug, went very well, honestly. Too well. This deck is not that consistent. I played 2 games off camera and got absolutely absolutely fucked. I am a scrub, but I got fucked. This opening hand is akin to what you normally see. Absolute garbage. Double Calibrated Blast is good, and we can put the Draco back in our deck as well. Let's go. Tarn from our opponent. Steam Vents from our opponent. Dragon Rage Channeler from our opponent. Mishra's Bauble from our opponent. That's more like it. That's more like it. A video where we play a fun deck and we're going to get fucked by something meta. This is what real Magic is. We're going to lead with Factory because we can play Swiftwater Cliffs next turn anyway, or we can play a Mountain to have the Factory up as a blocker. Our opponent plays a Consider. They put an Unholy into the bin. They play another Bauble and so on and so on. I just zoned out while they were fucking about. I stopped even realizing what they were doing. They draw a card off the Bauble on our turn again. The Dragon's Rage Channel is still a 1-1. We've got 3 blasts in hand, which is pretty good for like firing them off through counter magic. We're going to play a Mountain here. We're going to play a 3rd untapped land next turn and fire a blast off, and then we're going to play Swiftwater Cliffs afterwards. That's the sequencing to get to 5 mana without tap lands. They attack with the Dragon Age Channeler. They might have Archimage's Charm up here, so I don't know if I want to lose my Factory to that. They got to have something, right? Even just an Unholy Heat would be bad, so I'd rather just take 1 rather than risk it. Our opponent plays a Murktide Regent, which is a 5/5, so we are under quite a bit of pressure now. I really hope they don't have Spell Pierce here. We're going to go ahead and play a Calibrated Blast, though. Do they have Counter Magic? They did have a Spell Pierce. They do have the Spell Pierce, which is unfortunate. Hopefully it won't flip the Dragon Rage Channel. So they untap, they're going to 6 us, so we're on a 3-turn clock, but we can kill them in 2 turns if they don't have multiple copies of Spell Pierce. Expressive Iteration for the Dragon Rage Channel, which means if they are looking for a counter spell, they will probably find it, right? With the Surveil +3 cards deep look. Ragavan into the bin where he belongs, the piece of shit. They get in for 8 here. Doesn't change the clock, though. We play a Boseiju, and then we're going to blast them again. They're going to have to straight up counter spell, which is going to be very funny. They do. They actually do. What are the chances? Goddamn! So next turn we might be Calibrated Blasting the Murktide Regent to death, but then we're taking 8 this turn anyway. So killing the Regent doesn't do anything. We need them to like ping themselves down to 15 and then us to hit an Emrakul that isn't in our deck. I guess Autotron Worm is also a 15. They cast another Murktide Regent, which seems like they're tapping out and we're going to get to run the gamble, but the Murktide Regent exiling things from the bin actually grows their Murktide Regent. So they now have 10 damage on board. If I'd played the Swiftwater Cliffs over the Boseiju, I would actually have a turn to untap and try and hit them, but I don't. So I made a mistake. Playing the Swiftwater Cliffs would have been better as well, for if we hit a 13 or something and they ping themselves, 12 when they ping themselves, so we hit the Blink Moth or Ink Moth, whatever the fuck it's called. Actually, I think it's a 14. Either way, if we took them to 1 and we played the Swiftwater Cliffs, we could have untapped, had enough life to then make this Mishra's Factory into a body as well, attack as well as Calibrated Blast, hitting the 14, where, because we played the Boseiju, this can only tap for mana if we paid 2 life, being on 2 if it hit us for 8. So basically, long story short, chat and comment section, we should have played the Swiftwater Cliffs. We have won the die war, and by that I mean we lost the first game. So we're going to summon our Hippopotamus. We're going to mulligan. We're going to keep the 1 copy of Calibrated Blast over possibly mulliganing to none. And we'll put the Blink Moth back. We're going to lead with a Temple of Epiphany, because we've got 3 tap lands in play, in hands. We have to do something to be able to cast this Calibrated Blast on turn 3. They play a Ragavan. We play a Ruins, and we're gonna fuck. I meant to play the Mishra's Factory, because then we could block the Ragavan, making it into a 3/3, because that's what's activated, but it does. Oh, that was fucking... Why did I do that? I have no idea. They hit us for 2. As long as they don't, like, hit our big stuff, as long as they hit, like, lands, we're fine. They exiled a Radiant Fountain, which is definitely... Okay, that's fine. We're going to play a Mishra's Factory, and then we're going to play 3 mana, and we're just going to fire the Calibrated Blast right into their face. There's a good chance they have counter magic here, but we have to get it out of their hand. We can't really play around it. We could wait for a Boseiju, maybe. I say this, if it's all Spell Pierces, we can actually play around Spell Pierce by just waiting for 5 mana, but I thought they could have had to straight up counterspell. They go to 17, which means they die to Calibrated Blast plus a activation of Ramunap Ruins. They actually go to 15 because they shock themselves here, which means they could just die to a copy of Calibrated Blast. Maybe they have a counter magic in hand. They get in with Ragavan. They reveal Throes of Chaos, which I think they're going to cast. Because they can get a Dragon Rage Channeler, they can get a draw spell. They can hit another Ragavan, I guess. They decided not to cast it. Now, do I animate my Mishra's Factory? I'm hoping they've removed some of their removal spells, right? That's what I'm hoping for. And we're going to get in for 2 here and take them to 13, which means we're more likely to kill them with all our incidental damage. Sunscorched Deserts and 2/2s attacking. No, they kept the Unholy Heats and Lightning Bolts in. Or they took the Unholy Heats out and kept the Lightning Bolts in, which makes a lot more. They cast a Consider an end step. They get in with Ragavan. Hopefully they don't exile another Calibrated Blast. That'd be sad. Okay, we're good. They exiled a land. And they cast a Dragon Rage Channel, which is a 3/3 right now. We drew a Calibrated Blast. It looks like they have counter magic. Let's make them have it. Because we can reel these off the top. We have even found a pad out our life to it a little bit as well. Mystical Dispute here. We're going to gain 2 life. We're up on 17. They're on 15. They have 3 cards in hand. They are drawing cards off the Ragavan technically. So we're going to take 5 here going to 12. We drew an Autotron Worm, which isn't ideal. We're then just going to cast a Calibrated Blast, which is on... The likelihood of it hitting at 15 now is quite low because we've drawn one of them. They have 3 cards in hand, but they have a 4th counter spell. That is right. No, sorry, a 3rd counterspell for this game. Sorry, not a 4th. They cast a Consider. This will give them 3 cards in hand when they untap. I'm sure it can't be a 4th counterspell though, right? They just can't have it. I keep making them trying to make them have it, and they do. We drew a Savai Triad. We could wait to cast a Blast in their turn, but I don't want them to draw another card. So we want to just try and hit them whilst they're not tapped out, but lower on resources. We're going to cast another Calibrated Blast. Do they have the 4th counter spell? They're cracking their Scalding Tarn. They do. They do. They have another copy of Mystical Dispute, probably from the sideboard. So yeah, sometimes your opponent just has the counter magic and you just don't get to resolve these things. It's a reasonable place to be in Magic, right? You kind of want that to happen, otherwise decks like this would be obnoxious. Frustrating for a video though, because I kind of just want to boom headshot people for the fun of it. Right? So that was Calibrated Blast, a little quick ditty with a budget deck that is sub $10 on Magic the Gathering Online. A much cheaper and more fun way to play than Arena in my humble opinion. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe as well. And if you really want to support the show and the channel, there is a link to the Patreon in the description below. Get access to my Discord server where we have events. Like at the moment we have a Modern and 40k event, and you get access to alter sleeves like these. One new one every month for all patrons of $2 or more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.